Why, hello there, humans and aliens. I'm going to keep on trying to make what ifs, even though I made it really seem like I was leaving in my last video. If you haven't seen my last video, please go and watch it, because I talk about why I took such a long break. Let's get on with the video. So, a while back, I posted a video called Fight Club AU or something, and it was basically just a bunch of pictures of different characters wearing these weird collars around their necks. I kind of want to talk more about that because that's, believe it or not, it's not based off of the movie Fight Club or something. It's based off of a idea I had for a superhero TV show called Unbalanced. Basically, Unbalanced is a sequel to Balanced, where in Balanced there's like 1 or 2% of the world that has some sort of special ability, and it takes place in America, and it starts out in a small town with a wall around it, with walls around it. And it basically talks about how originally it was like 50 years ago. I've been changing it so much. Now it's like hundreds of years ago. But basically, there was something that polluted the water. In the original story, it was a chemical plant, and it polluted the water and got everyone super duper sick. After a few years, people started developing these abilities. The first known ability, unlike in My Hero Academia, is someone who, you know Mei Hatsume's quirk? It's kind of like that. Basically, they could zoom in on anything within a 3-mile radius and see it completely clearly. But Balanced is basically about people with abilities finally being able to show themselves and eventually being integrated into society. Unbalanced is about a group of people with abilities who were taken from their homes as children and forced to be put in this fight club. And most of the time they were given up by their parents for a large sum of money. The idea was there was this major mastermind from the previous series who was kind of one of the bad guys, basically made this place and started making money off of it. And so my characters for Unbalanced were characters like Jackson. You've seen his character design before if you saw the Fight Club AU video that was like only a minute long at most. But his ability was called Ice Explosion, where he could create like anything out of ice. I guess that could be as big as from the length of his fingertips to his elbow, I think. And basically it would cause everything around it to freeze in like a Todoroki ice wall fashion, depending on how big or small it was. Like something about as big as a marble would probably freeze about halfway up your calves, and that's why he has to be very careful, because his quirk gets way too powerful. Please don't steal any of my ideas unless I give you permission to use one of my ideas, please. It's something that I am like really scared about because I want these to actually be things that I create. Each one of these ideas that I made up is very important to me, and I've been working on some of them for years. The only one I've actually ever gotten around to writing about was Balanced, and it was like a 200-page long script for a TV show. I already had all of season 1. So, the main character is going to be Deku. And for the sake of this what if, I'm going to say that Deku was in fact born with a quirk, or an ability as I call it in these series. And so, and his ability is going to be super observation, where he can basically tell exactly what a person is thinking. He's like Sherlock on steroids. And in this universe, Inko is not going to be his mom, just because I would feel bad for making her kind of the bad guy in this. Unless we want to say he somehow... Wait, no, I've got it. Instead of him being with his mom, he's with his dad. So his dad's at fault. Okay, we've got this. Inko, I would never do anything to make her the bad guy. She's too good. She's too wholesome. So, Deku grows up around Bakugo, who was there because in this universe his parents wouldn't have abilities or quirks. So, they would think someone who explodes stuff would be a bit much to handle and too dangerous to be around. Yes, there is a genetic component in getting abilities, but there's like specific things you have to do in order to get them to actually manifest. Like, let's say there's this recessive gene that makes it possible for you to have an ability. There's also a recessive gene that makes your ability manifest. So if you have like Punnett squares or something, and each of your parents had like one of each of those genes, if there were like 8 kids, I'm sorry, I'd have to do the Punnett squares. I'm not dealing with this right now. But Deku grows up around Bakugo and a boy named Jackson, and also another boy named Tai, who had a similar quirk to Deku, or ability to Deku, and it was called, well, I don't know what it's called, but Taskmaster? I only know about him from Ultimate Spider-Man, so all I know is that he sees something and he can copy it, and that's basically what Tai can do. He can copy anything that's physically possible for him, and he can also copy voices like perfectly, and whenever he copies someone's voice, his hair changes color to match whoever's voice. Deku, Bakugo, Jackson, and Tai all grow up in this dire situation. They eventually see some new people come in, including Uraraka, who joins of her own free will in order to give her parents more money. So she joins when she's like 13 or 14. One day they notice the kind of leader guy who nobody likes because he was the guy who set this entire Fight Club thing up, talking to someone much, much younger who seemed to be touring and checking the place out. He had jet black hair and he wore a face mask. This is actually another one of my OCs, so just don't say anything about Overhaul, please. Although that would be an interesting twist. Just like, oh, you thought this was gonna be your savior? Nope, it's me, Overhaul. I'm about to kill some people. Welcome to me getting off topic. Maybe that's what I should call my channel, Off Topic. So, Tai is now 17, I think, at this point. Jackson is 15, and so is Deku and Bakugo and Uraraka. And the day after the person comes and tours the Fight Club, police officers break down the door and take all of the people out of the building and take them in for questioning. And anyway, so the police officers start to assign each of these people to a new home so they can grow up there, and even the people who are already grown people get assigned to families, adopted by families, because they have nowhere else to go. And so Midoriya is taken in by none other than All Might. I think that's where I'm going to leave off for now. This is very, very long. I hopefully will be able to cut this down to like way less. So remember to ask me any questions you guys have for Q&A that I will probably make. I already have like 2 questions or 2 comments for questions that I'm going to mention, but it would be very nice if you guys could ask more. You can ask me anything that's appropriate. I want to make some Sims videos, and I don't have any ideas for like series that I can do. I could do what if series where I like create characters from my what ifs, like as if they were from my what ifs, but I only have like the vampire pack, so I'm not sure how well that would work. So I think that's all for now, humans and aliens. Peace.